The life of Gremlin. Gremlin's Guide to Canada. Ontario driver's license. Since I'm going to talk about Ontario driver's license today, I'll do it in the car, because why not? This is North America. Unless you intend to live in downtown Toronto and pretty much never ever leave it, not being able to drive is a serious limitation. So how do you get a local driving license? Right, so let's start with the basics. After you take up permanent residence in Ontario, you're allowed to use your original license for 60 days. That is it. You have 60 days to obtain a local Ontario driver's license. I'm talking category G, which is your normal private license to drive cars. It's not a commercial license to drive trucks, although cars are bigger here. So the G license lets you do a bit more, I think, that it would do in Europe, at least where I come from. That's because North Americans love trucks as run-around cars, and campers and RVs are very popular here. And just like with anything else in life, you can be very lucky, moderately lucky, or, well, bundled up with the rest of us. Which boils down to three options, and you know I like lists and numbers. Option 1, you're a lucky holder of a driver's license that is more than 2 years old and is issued by one of the countries who have an international agreement with Canada on exchanging licenses. Option 2, you're moderately lucky. You're a holder of a foreign license which is over 2 years old. Your country doesn't have an agreement with Canada, but that's still a shortcut. Or you don't have any of the above, in which case you'll end up at the applicable place in the normal Ontario driver qualifying process, which is way more complicated than it is in Europe. Okay, so option 1, you're very lucky. You're a holder of a driver's license from one of the countries you're about to see on the screen. In this case, if your license is more than 2 years old, upon the lapse of the 60 days from when you arrived for permanent residency in Ontario, you can exchange it for a full G Ontario driver's license upon application, which you make in person at a drive test centre. List of drive test locations is on the screen now. You turn up, it's a walk-in, no pre-booking necessary. The documents you need are a photo ID, so basically your passport, your COPR or your PR card. There are other options, but they're slightly more complicated. I put a link in the description. Your original driver's license, and you will need to pass a vision test, which is done there, and then at the counter the old-fashioned numbers and letters board. You may keep your glasses or lenses on if you wear them. Now, with some of the countries you will be extremely lucky because your driver's license will be all you need. That's, for example, the United Kingdom or Germany. With some of the other countries on the list, you will need an additional document from your native authorities confirming the validity of your license. You need to fill in an application. They take a picture of you. You will have to live with that picture for the next 5 years, so try and look nice when you go there. You pay a fee, which is $90 at the moment. That gets you 5 years, and that is it. You leave the drive test center with a piece of paper called temporary driver's permit that has an address on it, the address you gave in the application, for which you don't need any proof. So you can see the potential. I mentioned it already. You can use it to apply for social insurance number online, for example. And they send you the plastic photo card driver's license to the address given within about 4 to 6 weeks. That is it. The only two catches here are those. If your documents haven't been originally issued in English or in French, you will need a certified translation. The requirements of the Ministry of Transportation are different than those of Service Canada for the social insurance number translations. These certified translations for driver's license have to be done in Canada. You cannot bring them from home. And the other catch, quite important, is it is an exchange. Exchange means you give your old driver's license and you get the new Ontario license. So basically you will not see your original license from home again. Option 2, you're an experienced driver in a foreign jurisdiction, i.e. you've had a driving license for more than 2 years, but your country isn't on the list in option 1. What does it give you? Well, if you can prove that you have had your driving license for more than 2 years and they don't just take the issue date for it, you have to have a certification letter from the authority that issued the license or from your embassy or consulate in Canada. Well, if you have that, you will have to pass 2 tests. The first one is what I would call theory test. It's called knowledge test here. It's basically the code of the road. And the road test. And the good thing is that there are no waiting times. So you can do this within 60 days. And I know because I have. So how you go about it is you find your test drive center. You turn up. You will have your vision tested. You will pay $106 and then you can attempt the knowledge test. All you need to know is set out in the handbook issued by the Ministry of Transportation. You have 12 months from your first attempt to pass the knowledge test. So once you pass the knowledge test, you will be issued an Ontario G2 driver's license. They give it to you whether you want it or not. You can then book your road test as soon as you pass the knowledge test. But bear in mind that there are only so many slots available. I think I had to wait something like 3 weeks, so I just made the 60 days. A road test costs $91.25 per attempt at the moment. You pre-book online or in the drive test center, so you will have to pay in advance. You bring your own car and that car has to be roadworthy. The instructor will check before commencing the exam several mind points. So make sure these all work, because if they don't, you will forfeit your slot and half of the fee. It is a good idea to pay for 1 or 2 lessons from a local driving school, because they will show you the most common local examination routes and their tricky points. Once you pass your road test, then as soon as the instructor puts the results into the system, you can come and get your temporary G license permit, and they mail the photo card to you within 4 to 6 weeks. These are the costs for option 2, and that takes us to option 3, meaning your foreign driving license is less than 2 years old, or you don't have documents to prove that it's more than 2 years old, or you've never had a driving license before. That lands you in the general Ontario driver's licensing process. The regular total time required is 24 months, although there is an exception. However, any driving experience abroad helps you shorten the waiting times. And there are 3 tests. 1 theory test and 2 road tests. As in option 2, you start by taking the theory test, the knowledge test. When you pass it, you become Ontario Novice G1 driver. And you really don't want to stay there for long. And this is why. That license is quite limiting. Most importantly, you can't be on the road on your own. There always has to be an experienced driver in the passenger seat next to you. The main reason for you wanting the license in the first place probably being that you don't want to have to ask people to drive you places. This is a bit of a hindrance. So, once you have a total of at least 12 months driving experience, you can book and pass your first road test. This is just the basic driving skills. Once you pass, you become a G2 licensed driver. It's still a novice driver, but this license is way less limiting. It's just that you can't drink alcohol at all. Then with a total driving experience of at least 24 months, you can book your final road test, the same that you'd be passing in option 2. And upon getting through this one, you become a full G license driver. These are total fees for option 3. And this is it for the driver's license. And next time I will take you through how to register for the public healthcare. Canada does have public healthcare, unlike, for example, United States. It has very good PR. Whether it actually lives up to that PR, I'm not so sure, but well, I'll tell you all about it next time.